Yo, Creamfields. We got
Creams.
Alex in the house today. Welcome to the Blooper Theory, bro.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
How you been?
Pretty good. Working a lot, making moves.
Dude, I see you, dude. Your Instagram's all over the place. Always seeing you out and about, putting in the hustle. And then after that, you still got school, and then, you got to work and all that kind of stuff just to make the dream come true.
It's a lot on the plate.
So you were doing Uber this morning?
Yeah, I just do what I can to freelance, make extra money, whether it's, working for the oil and gas firm we had, or finding gigs, or selling merch, or
Just pretty much
any creative way to make money.
The hustling, the grinding. I think that's the one thing that I think whoever's trying to pursue their dreams, be very aware of. Like, if you really want it, you got to find different ways to stay afloat, especially during those early days.
Oh, yeah. I just turned 24, so I feel like
Dude,
we're
happy
still...
birthday, too.
That was, 2 days ago?
Yeah,
Monday.
it was 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah.
Celebrate?
Yeah, we went to Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, nice, dude.
Had a raspberry cheesecake.
Dude, I haven't been there in a while. It's been
incredible.
A couple months.
And when they came and started singing me happy birthday, there was like a group of middle school kids, like 30 of them. They all just started chiming in. It was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing.
It's like 30 kids at Cheesecake Factory singing you happy birthday.
Dude, that's the best. Dude, honestly, I don't think I've ever had an experience where I'm in a restaurant and then everyone just starts.
Entire Cheesecake Factory was just like.
Dude, I've been a part of the singing it, but I've never been like
receiving.
Knowing me, I'd probably start like, damn it, I'm about to get really red up in here.
Yeah, I got red.
But yeah, guys, today we have Alex. He's a music producer, entrepreneur, creative, clearly hustling, grinding, and we're gonna get into the music a little bit today. I've known Alex. How long has it been, dude?
It's like 2014, 2015.
2015-ish, around there. I was about to graduate college. Alex was out in Egypt, and then he came back, which we'll get into that as well, and that whole process. But yeah, dude, we met up, kind of kick-started everything. No, it was actually a year before that we met, and then you went out to Egypt.
Yeah, I went there back for a year just to chill out.
And then you came back. So yeah, we'll get into that as well, guys. But all right, guys, for everyone who doesn't know you, little introduction. Who's Alex? We can say whatever you want. Where you're born, your trajectory, goals, life, up to you.
Yeah, so my first name is Sean. Jonathan knows me by Sean or Alex. It doesn't really matter each way, but as I've slowly been getting more into music and using my middle name as my stage name, Alex, a lot of the friends and people we come across now just use that. So I've gotten accustomed to that. And, I was born in Germany, 95. So I'm 24, right?
24.
And yeah,
that's right.
I've lived all over the world, 6 years in Switzerland as well. I went to high school in Dubai for 3 years. When I went to A&M, I left after 2 years to go to Egypt for a year just to experience the culture. Because my family lived 10 minutes from the pyramids.
It must have been a great view.
So yeah, you could walk onto the roof of our house and see like the little tips. And when we went golfing on the weekends, you were on the green and you could hit the ball on like a hill. It was called Alegria Hills was the name of the compound. Mm-hmm. And when you hit the ball, it looked like it was going towards the pyramids.
Wow.
Like off into the distance because the green was going down a hill.
That must have been a really nice view.
Beautiful. Probably one of my top 5 views.
Dude, honestly, that's what I love about traveling and in general. You get to see all these amazing places. Your mind gets open to a bunch of different cultures. I'm always trying to push people to travel more. And honestly, sure, you can make it really expensive, but it can be really inexpensive. It's like a recent Mexico City trip.
Oh my God, that was life-changing.
That was life-changing, but we'll get into that a little bit later as well into the show, which was honestly, I would put it top 10 experiences
definitely top 10
in my life.
Comparable, maybe even better than the Vegas trip we did.
Oh, that was a great experience, unique as well. But I think this was just on a different
spectrum
of different stuff. So yeah, you traveled the world. You were born out of the States, lived in multiple countries, and then you got into music, right? Mm-hmm. Along the way.
Yeah, I had my band in Switzerland. I was big into rock, and punk and Green Day and Blink and Some and all these guys. Growing up when I was playing instruments and started learning how to record them and just write music. And then when I went to high school in Dubai, They actually it was a private American high school, so they were obviously able to finance it really well because a lot of the wealthy Arab families, sent their kids there. So, the school had a state-of-the-art facility, and it had a studio, that they invested millions into, where you could take classes like music recording and production. I was in choir there. I took music psychology. I took AP music theory, a lot of music related classes. And I really got into production then when my friend actually showed me Daft Punk one day, who I started producing music with. And I heard, the beats and the electronic sounds, and immediately, I just fell in love.
From there, just kind of grew from there?
Just kind of, made the shift from like
So
rock.
as someone who, I mean, now you do music pretty much all the time, but you clearly started with, did you start with an education within the music, or was it just, were you already kind of messing with it beforehand?
I was doing both. Like I would be playing on my guitar every day, I'd be writing music, just melodies that come in my head. And of course in high school, I was studying it. I never knew if I wanted to pursue, like a degree music related, but I did do an internship at a studio in Dubai over the summer of my senior year, where I got to make music for commercials for like Lipton and Cheetos and Atlantis. So it was stepping more into like professional.
So more in the
realm.
professional scene instead of the entertainment scene?
Yeah.
So do you think education is needed for music, or do you think you can get away with it? I know definitely knowing music theory could be important in general, just to know it. I wouldn't say it's necessary probably, but I'm not a musician. So do you think it's necessary to know it?
I think that if you want to be a DJ or an artist or a music producer in today's world, which is mainly electronic dominated or getting there, you should study business, which is what I'm doing.
Business.
Because you can just, everything you need to know about music production, you can watch on YouTube. But, learning business in itself is an experience as well. You have to go out there and you have to meet people and you have to show face, and it's all about communication. That's a lot of people in the music scene don't understand that that's 50% of the work.
I mean, I think that's something good that we started doing in the beginning. Like we saw the bigger goal, which was the bigger, like the branding, the business, that, if you want to make money in this, you have to know how to do that.
If you want to survive, and you want to have stability with what you love doing, we're both creatives, and you've seen how long I've been doing this. But the moment we started, using the business mindset, to get to where we want to be, is when we started making all these moves.
I agree. I always thought creatives as well. Like nowadays, like you can learn anything online, like, or old school way, go meet up like a friend. They can teach you, kind of work together, collab on that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think business is something that's pretty. I mean, you can learn business on your own as well. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's a useful thing to study, especially if you're trying to go solo. And then I think knowing having all that knowledge in business helps you. Let's say you get signed to a label, so you're not getting screwed over later, and you understand the business of how they're making money, how you want to make money, and then maybe off of that you branch off to your own thing, kind of like what you're doing with your record label and stuff like that.
Yeah, some big things happening right now with it.
What's happening on with it?
So basically, to educate the audience, I started my own record label.
Might be easier. There you go.
There we go. I started my own record label at the early 2018 last year, and I saw like in the Houston scene itself, there's a lot of toxicity and a lot of kids are struggling, and there's no sense of real community as well. Just a couple of lost people, going around to concerts or raves. And there's a couple groups that I really look up to, like Above and Beyond. They made Anjuna Deep and Anjuna. And of course, the whole SHM, Swedish House Mafia, and Axwell have the whole Axtone label going on that inspired me to create a culture like that I wanted to then build up in Houston and Texas, and hopefully go travel the world with.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that I see that's super important. And really what I was thinking like today, what was the topic of like today's podcast? And I was kind of thinking, I mean, I know a lot of stuff you do, but like, I kind of wanted to get deeper into what I believe so far in your career has been your biggest impact, which is creating community, especially like in an industry here in Houston where it's like you just mentioned, it's all over the place, especially like dubstep, trap. That's what really is the main focus here. So you bringing in other genres and honestly collabing with the multiple amount of people and different and kind of just bringing it all together. I was thinking that definitely community is something that I know you've impacted a lot of people here in Houston, and I mean out of the state as well, all over the place. And honestly, it's something that's super important just for a creative.
Yeah, it was really nice for my birthday. A lot of friends reached out just to thank me for the label, and what it means to them and how they feel a sense of community, and purpose and love with what I'm trying to project with it out into the world, and that's the whole purpose of it.
Yeah, that's really cool, Jack. Yeah. I saw all those messages. We're part of the group chat, and everyone just seems very genuine about you in general. And I know that you are like truly genuine with everyone, and you mean the best for everyone as well. Like
sometimes I can be rough in the chat.
I mean, sometimes, but I mean, there's tough love is necessary.
The guys need to hear it.
Yeah, need to hear it sometimes. Because especially as a creative, when you're still balancing regular work, 9 to 5, you're balancing, let's say, school, and then you have all these dreams, like. You get overwhelmed, and sometimes, you need that someone else to kind of like pick you up, like, hey, let's collab again. Let's not quit right now. We still got ahead of us. And even because there's a very small percentage of people that gets that level, just the fact that you can continue doing something you love, I think it's honestly more important than making it because I mean the financials and all that is super important, but at the end of the day, like if you're doing something that makes you happy, like that's also a win in itself.
Oh yeah, one of my really good friends who was a DJ with me in university, he went on to go work for JP Morgan the past year. He hated it. He was burnt out every week. Of course, he was making great money, in the financial side district, but he was burnt out, so he just needed to quit. He did that.
Dude, that's what I always see. Like, and I always tell people, like, I mean, by no means am I like where I want to be, make enough money, but like I've come to realize like happiness and money
don't really
like. I mean, sure, you can get stuff is cool to get. The materialistic is awesome, but at the end of the day, if there's no purpose, if there's nothing in there, it's just kind of like what are you doing it for? And it doesn't lead you to be any more happy than you are or not.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so you've been building the community. I know it's been like a little over a year with Lauterhouse.
A year and like 4 months almost.
And you released what, like 4 or 5?
Like 12 original. I have like 2 or 3 originals, remix out, and then for my artists, I have about 8 or 9 tracks from them out. So and we're about to just start releasing, going the second phase of the year, where we're putting out 6 or 7 more records over the next 2-3 months, and then we're putting an EP out with my friend started a new group called Neon Instruments. That's a really cool project we've been working on the past couple of weeks, and we're about to release the EP, and then just go crazy on the marketing and the branding for it. So it's a really, really interesting, different kind of genre, like very like progressive techno almost, but people love the sound and the songwriting. So
I mean, I heard a couple of the tracks you sent me over. So like, it's really good stuff, guys. You guys are really doing something, especially new here in Texas, for sure.
It's new. We sent it to the studio in London. This guy that masters music for like Tiesto and Afrojack and a lot of big artists. And he was like, I don't even know what to name this. It's what are your plans with it? I told him I'm just gonna put it out on my label and see what happens.
So do you have a general direction? I know the genre of music you enjoy and stuff like that, but as time has evolved, you've learned a lot more. The label has progressed. Is there a general direction you kind of went ahead, or is it?
It's evolved. I mean, it's still mainly 4 to the 4 house, just boom 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 based, but a lot of big labels have sub-labels as well, so maybe in the future, if I do decide to have a different sound or different direction we want to go, or artists that I like that aren't necessarily considered house artists, maybe like under a sub-division of it, we can branch out and brand them in different ways, because the whole point of what I want to do is to help manage and brand the artists I bring onto the team as well, not just put out a track.
So you want to be involved with full on everything, the whole creative aspect.
I feel like, I don't need to have hundreds of artists on my label of music that I'm releasing. I'd rather have a smaller team, of guys I really believe in that have proven themselves, not only to me, but, to themselves and where their sound is.
I think too, something you're doing, I mean, some other people do it, but something you're doing differently is you're pretty much, you coming from an artist background, you're giving the creative control and the creative,
Yeah,
like
so
all the whatever you want to do with your image and stuff like that. We're here to, put you out and help you create that brand and image as well, and align it with what you're doing with Lauterhouse.
yeah, that's one thing that's most important to me is that sense of identity in an artist and who they are and what their purpose is.
So what's been the process for you of just creating that identity and like your own sound? And I know in the beginning it's a lot of like you're listening to different music you like, artists that you are inspired by, and then you kind of copy almost a little bit in the beginning as almost like you're learning, and then at some point you start evolving into your own self, into your own person. How's that process been like?
First couple of years of producing, I just started learning how to actually put together and arrange full tracks, and then it evolved into me writing my own melodies, which I was always good at, and then finding my own sounds, and then learning how to mix and master everything, which is the longest part of becoming a music producer. That takes like 5 to 10 years. You want to get to a really, really good, professional level. And now I just sit down, and open up my laptop and I just go.
Dude, what I've seen like Laid Back Luke. Nowadays he does like a track in like 4 or 5 hours.
So workflow is one of the most important things, because the world doesn't stop. If you stop, it keeps going. So the music industry is like that. Every year to year, it's different. So your workflow is one of the most important things you can have. And now I'm at the level where, I just wrote this EP with Caleb in 2 weeks. It's like 4 tracks, and it used to take me like months to finish a track.
Dude, are you finding it difficult nowadays with especially how media's like everything just puts out more and more media, and sometimes it's good to just take a step back?
It's very oversaturated, and a lot of even the artists that I used to follow or on Instagram, my feed is just I'm not as interested anymore. Everything's the same. Like still the only guy I think who did it right last year was Steve Angelo, right? And he
went very old school, kind of like he worked like 2-3 years on his album. And then he released it with like, was it 12 songs or 10?
No, it was like...
How many was it?
Like 18, I think.
18 songs?
Yeah, something like that.
But he wasn't like releasing like 40 every year that are just... That's what I think. I think sometimes like especially now with, do more and more and more. Like more needs to be put out. We're all addicted to like media and more music. And sure there's a strategy in that as well, especially in the beginning. But I think there's something like very pure about,
That goes hand in hand with delivering content, especially to promoters, right? Because there's millions of kids out there making music, and then there's also a bunch of promoters out there that are always looking for guys to fill up their club. So the more content, a lot of the people are in the mindset that they need to have more content out there. But, that some of it is just really bad, or there's no purpose in it, or it's just oversaturated, or it's very poorly done. And they don't see that it hurts their brand more than it is helping them get to where they want to be.
Yeah, I think finding a balance is what you need to do. Because, I see it too, especially in photography. If anything, there's with Instagram, there's so many photos. And eventually, there's a lot of great photos, a lot of great content, but it's super saturated with a bunch of stuff that isn't good. And by no means am I saying you should not put stuff out. Like in the beginning, go ahead, put stuff out. But eventually you get to a point where, you got to create your own unique image, your own unique content, what makes you you. And sometimes it takes a month, it takes a couple years to kind of get that where you want it to be. And then eventually, once you do, start releasing it, start putting it out, you can now have a structured platform of how you do stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like, we spent the first couple months last year, really aligning the Alex Lauter brand and putting that persona out to the world as not only a DJ, but an artist. So I feel like when people go and look me up now, they'll get that vibe, this guy's an artist, a music producer, a label owner. And then we went on to brand Lauterhouse last year as well. And people now see that as an emerging, just house label that, really connects and unites people.
It has. I've noticed from like the Instagram pages, from all the engagement, from everything else, the T-shirts, the merchandise. The brand is growing.
Yeah, we've done a lot.
It's done a lot. So how have you noticed from a business perspective what it's like owning a record label? I know it's still in its infancy of growing.
It's only a year old, so you're not going to make much money at the beginning. I'm starting to understand how contracts work, how deals with artists, work, how different forms of streaming revenue and, like selling merch and getting bookings, with the label as well can help bring that brand further. So like I said, we've put out like 12 tracks now in total, and that was all that was needed to really give that label a more professional feel. So now, I'm already working with like my dream labels, which is crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy, especially what was it like? When was Mexico City? Like
We went to Mexico City.
Ago?
Yeah, like a month ago, almost exactly a month ago.
Do you want to go in on that story a little bit? I know I've told some people how it started and how you kind of got close to Simon and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So through that connect, but you can go into
basically, Jonathan and I we're big fans of Swedish House Mafia, and I just always listened to their music, and just jammed to it, and I never really thought much more of it until one day the head of Axwell's label actually reached out to me on Instagram and just said, "Hey, send me over your music. I want to hear it." And I did that. I thought it was cool, still needs a bit more work. I was like, yeah, I know, I'm getting there. And we just started Skyping over the past year and just becoming really close friends, forming like a friendship, a bond. And, I would update him on everything that we'd be doing, like the Vegas tour we did and all the music I'm putting out and these brands I'm building and the way the label is headed, in which direction it's going. And then we saw obviously that Swedish House was going back on world tour, right? So I was like, oh, damn, like we need to go. And May 18th was when it was. Yeah, so like a month and a week ago almost.
Was it you released a song that?
Yeah, over and over. We released that the day before.
The day before, right?
But so basically, I was like trying to figure out what to do, and I just took a risk, and I asked Simon, if he could put us on the list, for Swedish House Mafia. And instead of just putting us like on a general access list or just, getting us a normal ticket, he gave us like this backstage VIP card, which was crazy. It's right there.
It's up there right
have
now.
it up there. And that enabled us to just walk in there, go anywhere we wanted to, hang out with, the guys running this basically, just one of the most insane experiences of my life.
Dude, I think that was the craziest part. How, I mean, you had established this relationship already throughout the year, going back and forth with music and stuff, pretty much bros. And then you kind of like put that out. And of course, honestly, I was like, oh, he said, yeah, all right, cool. And then
you didn't believe it until we got there.
Well, because we had nothing to there's no proof of it.
Right.
We were taking his word, and this isn't like a downtown Houston. Like we had to travel to Mexico City. Like luckily I spoke Spanish, and he's adventurous. He loves the travel world. So Alex was super excited down there all the time. But yeah, we had nothing
bouncing around the city.
He sent us, all we had was his email saying, "Hey, got you guys
that
on
was
the
it.
guest list." That
was it. We bought flights,
directions, and pretty much we bought flights like last minute.
Drove to San Antonio.
Like guys, we were literally we were scrolling through the internet. This guy was looking VPN everything to get us cheap tickets. We finally found cheap enough tickets to go.
$280.
$280, which is reasonable, especially for like 2-3 days before. And then we head down to San Antonio, and then we take a flight, which honestly got delayed.
Oh,
and we ended up getting there. We ended up getting to our Airbnb, which we booked when we got to Mexico City.
Like at 5 a.m.
At 5 a.m. And then, what was her name? Irma?
Irma.
Shout out to Irma. If you guys are in Mexico City and you need Airbnb, hit Irma up. She's literally by the airport, 5-minute walk. But warning, it is very like Mexico
No, but
City.
it was fine.
It was a great
the taco
experience.
stands all around the place were amazing.
And we can get into the travels, like traveling in general, how like sometimes it's just better to be like in the culture, like deep in
definitely.
there. It's a different experience you get than being at like a 5-star Marriott hotel.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like, we were literally like
We were in the heart of the city.
Shack or I don't know where we're in. But yeah, so yeah, we spent the first day there. Go check out Zocalo, get some more food because everything's just very affordable over there. Literally, we wasted probably like $50 in 3 days
On food.
on food and stuff like that. And then next day was our get-go day. Did we do anything in the morning that day?
Just went through the city.
I think we just went through the
walked
city.
Through the
yeah,
city.
we went through the city again, and then later that night we packed up. No, we didn't pack up, but we got ready to go to was it Foro Sol?
Foro Sol.
Foro Sol.
Foro Sol.
And yeah, we were looking for the ticket box, And guys, I speak Spanish, and I had no idea how to say ticket box in Spanish. And I looked up the translation, but I was doubtful because you know how sometimes it doesn't translate it like properly, and I just didn't want to look like a fool. And then so we were just kind of looking and looking and looking. And then it started raining, and we were just like, dude, when is this? We're just, like, this is not gonna happen. We went came all the way to Mexico City, nothing. And then we found the ticket box with guest list. And then we're like, all right, it's now or never. Let's see if it came through. Yeah, and then we go, give our IDs. And not only did he give us VIP tickets, but he gave us, like Alex said, the family pass.
I think that pass lets us go to any concert worldwide. We can just go in there.
Trip to South Korea, I think already passed. But but yeah, and then what happened after that is what I would say top 10 experiences in my life.
The concert in itself was
probably
the best one I've seen.
Yeah, it's been by far the best show. And you've been to massive festivals.
Yeah.
I've been to massive festivals, and there was just something that was like very pure about that show.
You know, they had their love again. The three guys were just up there having fun, and the energy in Mexico was just insane. Just pure, more pure than like other festivals I've been to. You know, everyone just loving and caring.
I think the thing too was like when you go to a festival, like the artist DJ, like they format their set to kind of fit the crowd that has always followed them, but also new crowds, which sometimes you fall into the whole like sellout kind of music instead of playing what you truly want to play, you know. And I think us being there, we literally had like 2 hours of just whatever. Like guys, like the music was awesome, but the whole set was insane. Like the whole art design, everything about visuals, like how it all came together. The fire, like those are the type of shows, the type of moments where like it just re-inspires you again to like continue.
Definitely most inspiring moment of the year.
Oh, for sure, by far. And then the energy was insane. Like that's how like, I think I had a podcast with Peter when I was saying like that's the energy that I've always wanted to like feel like from that point of view. And like it's just it's unlike anything else. Taking a little coffee break right now.
Cafe de la Casa.
Coffee de la Casa. Do you have
it was $1 at the Sunoco, and they have like these plates you can get for $5. All like the Mexican workers are going there, and they just stand in line. It's like $5 for a full plate that feeds you a full day, fresh cooked.
Dude, that's where the deal's at.
Yeah, Cam told me, or my roommate Cam told me about that.
Cafe de la Casa. Have you been to that coffee shop down in Houston, down by downtown Houston? It's like this yellowish kind. I don't even know what it's called.
Agora?
No, it's not Agora. It's not Agora. It's I forget what it's called. I'll have to tell you about the show later. But yeah, guys, that was the show was incredible. Like top 10
seeing you know one of 3 artists you know that actually inspired me to get into what I want to do with my life was incredible. And you know, we get back 3 days later, and Simon, who got us you know all this access, he randomly sent me an email and he was like, "Hey, can we get an event going on in Houston?" I was like, oh my God, it's getting bigger and bigger, you know, by the month. So,
dude, that's exactly what I was thinking over there too. Because remember, this is a world tour they're going on, and Mexico City was the only North American like country, city, whatever, like only spot in North America. And that's kind of what I want to get into to you today. I know we talked about it, like the impact this tour is having on the world in general, and then in America in general. And I think you can see it too with like Axtone coming.
It's a lot of more European artists and labels want to break into America. You know, they see that it's a very bass heavy predominant scene, and there's a niche, right? The house is a niche. So they see that there's so much room for growth. So that's why these labels are now coming to me, because we have a presence in Houston, saying, okay, let's try to have an event here. Let's do this here. And that's ways for them, you know, to expand and grow their culture in different countries.
So do you think correct me if I'm wrong, like house music was the it thing here in America before trap and dub? And
like 10 years ago.
10 years ago. And then it's slowly with the emerge of trap, Skrillex, all these like kind of like artists.
Those guys ushered in a heavy bass wave.
Yeah, it kind of went up and kind of went down. And I think we were talking about it too, about it's almost like America and like pretty much the rest of the world, how sometimes like we're seen as a very like dominant, like almost a little angry at the same time.